Some films make you cry, some films make you think, but once in a while, a film reminds you of a pain you never personally experienced. That's exactly what happened when I watched Main Vaapas Aaunga. At first, you may think this film is about partition, but it's actually about what remains after partition. When we talk about the partition of 1947, we often talk about numbers: millions displaced, thousands killed, families separated. But statistics don't tell us what it felt like to wake up one day and realize that your home now belongs to another country. Main Vaapas Aaunga understands this. Instead of focusing on political events, Imtiaz Ali focuses on emotional consequences. The film asks a heartbreaking question: what if your body moved on, but your soul never left home? Isher's desire to return isn't just nostalgia, it represents a longing that survives decades, borders, and even old age. One thing I loved about this film is that it refuses to create a traditional villain. There is no evil mastermind, no singular enemy. The villain is history itself. The villain is a line drawn on a map. The villain is a decision that turned neighbors into foreigners overnight. This is what makes the film so devastating because nobody truly wins. Everybody loses something: a home, a family, a future, or a version of themselves. The deepest theme in Main Vaapas Aaunga is the idea of home. What exactly is home? Is it a building, a country, a street, or is it the people we love? The film constantly blurs these boundaries. The characters aren't trying to go back to a geographical location, they are trying to go back to a feeling, a moment in time, a version of life that was stolen from them. And that's why the title is so powerful. मैं वापस आऊंगा. I will return. Return where? To a place? To a memory? To a lost love? The film never gives a simple answer. This was the part that affected me the most. The film shows that trauma doesn't end with the people who experience it. Sometimes it gets inherited. Children inherit stories, grandchildren inherit silences, entire generations inherit grief without knowing where it came from. Many viewers connected to the film because it reminded them of stories told by grandparents who lived through partition. The pain survives long after the event itself. One of the most fascinating conversations surrounding Main Vaapas Aaunga isn't about Isher and Jia themselves, but about the people they married afterward. The film shows a love story interrupted by partition, but it quietly leaves a question hanging in the air. What about the spouses who went an entire lifetime with them? While history separated Isher and Jia, it also shaped the lives of those who came later. People who may have shared a home, raised children, and built a future with someone whose heart was still carrying the weight of an unfinished past. Rather than judging its characters, the film invites us to think about the hidden victims of historical trauma. Partition didn't just separate lovers, it affected marriages, families, and generations that followed. You don't need to be a part of the family who suffered because of partition to understand any of the feeling presented in film. Because every family has a story about something that was lost: a city, a relationship, a dream, or a person. Some people may wonder why Imtiaz Ali chose to tell a partition story through romance. But that's exactly why the film works. History becomes personal when it interrupts love. We understand wars through textbooks. We understand loss through people. A broken heart can sometimes explain history better than a history book. Imtiaz Ali himself has spoken about wanting to tell a personal story rather than simply recount historical events. The romance becomes a symbol of all the lives that were left unfinished, all the conversations that never happened, and all the goodbyes that were never said. Technically, there are many things to appreciate. The performances feel lived in rather than performed. Nasiruddin Shah carries decades of pain in his eyes. The cinematography often feels like a memory rather than reality. And A.R. Rahman's music doesn't just accompany the film, it becomes part of its emotional language. But what truly makes the film special is its empathy. At a time when discussions about borders often become political, Main Vaapas Aaunga chooses humanity. It reminds us that ordinary people on both sides of a border suffered the consequences of decisions they never made. By the end of Main Vaapas Aaunga, I realized something. The film isn't asking whether we can return to the past, it's asking whether we ever truly leave it. Because some memories stay alive longer than people. Some homes continue to exist long after they have disappeared. And some journeys last an entire lifetime. That's why Main Vaapas Aaunga is more than a partition film. It's a film about longing, about memory, about the impossible desire to return to the places, people, and moments that made us who we are. And maybe that's why it hurts so much. Because somewhere deep down, all of us are trying to go back to something. Main Vaapas Aaunga isn't a story about crossing a border, it's a story about carrying one inside you for the rest of your life. If you liked our analysis of Main Vaapas Aaunga, then you should check out our other videos as well. And be sure to like this one and subscribe to our channel. Till then, may the cinema be with you.